So, have you ever been so stressed out where the only way to find relaxation is through music? Have you ever used music to help you finish your homework or even help you run those extra miles on the treadmill? Well, today I want to reveal to you the many mental benefits that music has on humans. If you enjoy music as most people do, I'm sure that this information will make you think twice about the music that you're listening to is benefiting your mind in many more ways than you can ever imagine. The definition of music is sounds that produce effects, sounds usually produced by instruments or voices that are arranged or played in order to create an effect. Even though music is one of humans' greatest discoveries, it is still unclear where it originated. All we really do know is that it is important to us and we can mentally benefit from it. Plato, a legendary Greek philosopher, once stated, "Music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything." For many centuries, humans have been using music to heal each other, both mentally and physically. It is until the 19th century where it became more recognized and respected, even a profession. Take music therapy, for example. It is a technique that uses music prescribed in a skilled manner by trained therapists or even yourself. With music therapy, you can fight stress and mental illness by listening to calm, relaxing music or even classical music on a daily basis. Music is used in many places like schools, rehabilitation centers, community centers, or even at home. The majority of people use music to help them find that peace of mind. When I feel stressed, angered, or just tired, I tend to just put on my headphones and listen to the music that I like. It feels as if like my brain has just entered a day spa. It's getting like the bombest massage ever. After about an hour of nonstop music, my whole day just seems to get a little bit better. According to an article written by Emily Son in the Discovery News website, music has pathways in the brain that language does not. There are only 2 regions in the brain that process language, but there are several that process music. Using a combination of rhythm, pitch, vision, and hearing, the brain manages to sing words that it can't say. Here is a video clip to help show how music affects the brain. In the video, scientists conducted tests on Oliver Sacks, a well-known writer and professor of neurology at the NYU School of Medicine.
Picture mute might still be on.
Sort of confused. I could hardly differentiate Bach and Beethoven. I don't seem to move me very much.
But his brain tells a different story.
The remarkable finding for you was even when you might have thought it was Beethoven,
Even when I was confused.
your brain can tell Bach from Beethoven.
Dr. Sachs clearly favors Bach over Beethoven. Even when he couldn't tell them apart, the brain scan on the left still shows increased activity.
The tests that were conducted were to show that even though Professor Sachs couldn't tell the difference between Bach and Beethoven, his brain clearly knew the distinction between the two and reacted more with Bach music. Ever since Professor Sachs was young, he was always drawn to Bach music. And where did that come? On January 8, 2011, U.S. Representative Gabriel Giffords and 18 others were shot during a constituent meeting. Giffords was shot on the left side of her head, which caused dramatic brain injuries to the left side. After months of physical therapy and music therapy, Giffords made an astonishing recovery. I'll show you slides. That's Giffords before the shooting, and that's Giffords right after the shooting. As you can see, the injury was to the left side of her head. Now, this is little after a year of music therapy. As you can see, the music therapy has helped her change a lot. They actually used music therapy to help her talk again, help her remember things with memory and how to just become normal. And this is a recent picture of her. Music has shown that through a special type of therapy that only uses music to rehabilitate a patient, drastically helps people with brain injuries. Music can help improve a human's memory and cognitive issues. Music can help people with sequencing and concentration by being able to have something to focus on, like a song. The person is unknowingly working on their ability to focus and on the concentration. Brain function physically changes in response to music. The rhythm helps the body breathe in slower, deeper patterns that have a calming effect. Heart rate and blood pressure also respond to the types of music that we listen to. The rate of the heartbeat tends to speed or slow down depending on the volume and rate of the auditory stimulus. Louder and faster sounds tend to raise both heart rate and blood pressure. Slower, softer, and more regular tones produce the opposite result. According to an article from acefitness.org, Costas, and I can't pronounce his last name, but Karajofes, PhD, says, music is like a legal drug for athletes. It can reduce the perception of effort or significantly and increase endurance as much as 15%. This can explain why you would have more stamina at the gym if you were listening to music with faster beats. Take techno, for example. Yeah. The mental benefits of music are becoming more and more widely known every year, and its practices are becoming more common as well. Thanks to the help of technology, we will benefit more from music than we ever thought was possible. In conclusion, there are many ways that we can benefit mentally from music. All we have to do is put on our headphones and drift away.
It's pretty hard to read from cards and read that good. So Kevin, what did you think?
I thought it was a very interesting topic. He had really good information on it, and everything was cited really well. He had a lot of good citations, and then he gave a good introduction to the video he showed. He gave a good introduction to that, and I like how he ended it, how he concluded everything. He wrapped it up pretty well. Things for him to work on. I think to show a little more enthusiasm in the voice and attention grabber. It was a little monotone, and then read from the note cards a lot, and I don't know if I just missed it, but didn't really give the structure as to what he was going to be talking about. Kind of just went straight into it, and then that was about it. But overall, I thought it was really good information, very interesting to listen to.
Okay, let me start with a couple of those things that need to be worked on, because I think you pointed out definitely two of them. The structural issues. I didn't really hear a preview at the beginning, and during the body of the speech, I could tell that you were moving through the information, but I didn't see any particular pattern. And so you want to. It's easier for us to hold on to the information and build if we know sort of where we're going and how this stuff fits together. And I just thought that it was underdeveloped when it came to the structure. It wasn't that it was confusing, but you need to help your audience a little bit more. And I think you're presenting good information, but it'll be easier for us to remember, and it'll make more sense if it develops in a particular structure. I thought you did also a good job with the citation of the information. I like that. There were a couple of places where you had a little bit of humor built in, but like Kevin said, I think you need to practice delivering some of those things, because I think you lose the effect of some of that when you're reading so much. Like your rhetorical questions at the beginning, when you watch the speech, listen to the beginning. It sounds kind of mechanical, sort of like, have you ever thought of this? Have you ever done that? Can you imagine what this would be? And, that's not how you talk to people. I'm sure that's not how you talk to your friends or family. There's got to be a little bit of personal variety in the way you're talking, so you do need to get away from the reading sort of thing. And this is one of the problems that happens when people write their speeches instead of putting it in an outline form. They've got the language all written out. They want to say the words that they've written down instead of just talking to people, and that's what you have a tendency to do. You need to practice a little bit more, because there's some pronunciation things. I wasn't worried about the fact that you couldn't pronounce the one guy's name. It's probably a complicated name, the professor that you did the research on. Yeah, sometimes people look at it and say, well, Professor, something like that. And everybody knows you're citing a person, but you're having a hard time with the name. On the other hand, other words get a little complicated. Constituent, for instance, is a word that you have in there when you're talking about Gabby Giffords, and that's a pretty well-known story that's going on there. So you make it sound almost like you're reading about it for the first time and telling us about it for the first time, and it ought to be one of those things that it just comes across second nature. Those are delivery issues. The visuals. I like the clip that you had. I thought that was interesting. I think you could use a little bit more information, but what you might want to do is point out and remind us what it was we saw with the brain activity. You could see, for instance, on the left slide, the orange areas in the brain were much more active when they were playing the Bach music. This is how they know that he could distinguish between the types of music. Even though he had trouble identifying it himself and saying it, his brain appears to be able to do that. That's the kind of explanation that you need to give. You're trying to let the video do all of the explanation for you, but you need to do some of that too. All right, thank you.